Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. My name's GeneJoke and today I'm reviewing Earthworm Jim on the Interplay Collection 1 and adding it to my ranking every Evercade game ever, ongoing list thing. Flip series of videos that I'm doing. Now anyone who's watched a number of my videos probably knows that I can't stand Earthworm Jim, so that's probably a bit of a hint for where this review is going to go. But anyway, yeah, we have the Sega Mega Drive version of Earthworm Jim on the Evercade, and I believe it's generally considered to be the best version of the game, or at least superior to the Super Nintendo version, possibly down to cropping. Whatever. On the visuals front, the game is absolutely fantastic. Got some great animation, really great designed cartoon looking characters. Not only can I not fault the visuals, I have to say that they are absolutely excellent for the hardware. The presentation as a whole is also excellent. The sound and music are also top notch. It really suits the madcap action that's going on screen, I guess. On the gameplay front, Jim generally controls quite well, and there's definitely some originality to the gameplay and the events that go on. So why do I hate it? Well, back in the day I was a bit of a fan of the game. I liked the aesthetics and the character entertained me, I suppose. But I never got very far with it, I wasn't that good at it, and it's only playing it later on a re-release, I think maybe on the 360 or on PS4 or something like that. When I played through it again, I started really seeing the flaws in the game design, and well, it just started really irritating me. Without the draw of, flashy impressive visuals as it was at the time, well, I just found the gameplay distinctly lacking. Ultimately, I don't find it enjoyable to play. I find it a bit of a chore to get through, and I'd be happy to never ever play the game again. And I'm not kidding with that. I would sooner play Sword of Sedan with its bad, janky, clunky gameplay than I would Earthworm Jim. Which of course brings me to placing in my ranking every Evercade game ever list thing. Flip. Do I put it above Sword of Sedan because it has, vastly superior graphics and controls much better? Or below because I would actually rather play Sword of Sedan? Well, looking at Skate Cat, I would rather play Skate Cat and Millipede 2600 and Creatures, so I'm going to put it just above Sword of Sedan. I'm sure many people would have this higher, and well, I'm sorry, I just have an irrational hatred of this game. Can't help it. It belongs here in my opinion. Anyway, that's enough for Earthworm Jim. I do feel it's a good time to put in Earthworm Jim 2 as well, because I don't have a huge amount more to say about it to warrant a separate video. Naturally, Earthworm Jim 2 is the sequel to Earthworm Jim. I bet no one saw that comment coming. This here is the SNES version, or SNES version for those who get wound up by hearing the term SNES. SNES, 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 SNES. I know that winds up some people, but this game winds me up, so I'm sharing the love. Once again, visually and presentation wise and musically, the game is fantastic. You certainly can't knock it on any of these fronts. This time around it is less of a straightforward platformer and is essentially made up of more mini games than the first one. This is a bit of a blessing but also an absolute curse, because the platforming in the Earthworm Jim games, well, it's not amazing. The level design tends to suck and they're not really that much fun. The problem is the minigames here are even less fun, although with a bit of polishing, if they were made a bit more forgiving, they could genuinely be fun. Like the puppy love sections, the concept is entertaining, but they just become so irritating to play that you just lose the will to live. And I beat this game for the first time a few months ago. It came up in the Caddy's challenge on the Evercade Discord, where we just had to progress as far through the game as we could using the inbuilt continues and not using save states. And I managed to beat the game, but I forced myself to play it an awful lot. I didn't like it in the first place, and I learned to absolutely loathe it. Every fibre of my being makes me want to put this game right at the bottom of the list as the worst game on Evercade ever, but it's not. I may have an almost irrational dislike to the Earthworm Jim games, but I can't rank it that low. But I can rank it below Sword of Sedan, which I would much rather play any day of the week. So it sits in just below Sword of Sedan, and just above Gelatinous Humanity Lost. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed me trying to justify my absolute distaste for the Earthworm Jim games, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.